Dear students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. Today I am going to discuss a new topic for the PG course in Environmental Sciences, that is spectral reflectance. In this module, we are going to talk about concept of spectral reflectance and understand its significance in studying various earth surface features. We all know that nuclear reactions within the sun produce a full spectrum of electromagnetic radiation, which is transmitted through space without experiencing major changes. As this radiation approaches the earth, it passes through the atmosphere before reaching the earth surfaces. Some is reflected upward from earth's surface. It is this radiation that forms the basis for photographs and similar images. Other solar radiation is absorbed at the surface of the earth and is then radiated as thermal energy. Now comes to concept of spectral signature. We all know everything in nature has its own unique distribution of reflected, emitted and absorbed radiation. These spectral characteristics can be used to distinguish one thing from another or to obtain from information about shape, size and other physical and chemical properties. A set of observation or measurement that constitute a spectral response pattern is called the spectral signature of an object. When electromagnetic energy is incident on any features of the earth surface feature, any of the three interactions, reflection, absorption or transmission may occur. Electromagnetic energy incident on the surface features are partially reflected, absorbed or transmitted through it. The fractions that are reflected, absorbed or transmitted vary with material type and the condition of the feature. It also varies with the wavelength of the incident energy. Majority of the remote sensing systems operate in the region in which the surface features mostly reflect the incident energy. The reflectance characteristics of the surface feature are represented using spectral reflectance curve. Thus, at any given wavelength for incident energy, the relationship among these interactions can be represented by the incident energy is equal to reflected energy, that is ER, plus absorbed energy, that is EA, plus transmitted energy, that is ET. This figure reveals the interactions between these energy components at a given wavelength. Now, for different earth features, the proportion of energy reflected, absorbed and transmitted varies depending on the nature of the material. Further, even for a given feature type, the proportion of reflected, absorbed and transmitted energy will vary at different wavelengths. Since most of the remote sensing systems operate based on the reflected energy, the reflectance properties of the feature become very important for studying earth surface features. Equation 2 talks about reflected energy at any given wavelength is equal to the energy incident on a given feature reduced by the energy that is either absorbed or transmitted by the feature. Now comes to spectral reflectance. The quantitative measure of the reflectance characteristics of the earth surface feature is the portion of incident energy that is reflected measured as a function of wavelength and is called spectral reflectance. If a spectral response pattern is unique to an object or an earth features, it is termed as spectral signature. Because spectral responses measured by remote sensors over various features often permit an assessment of the type and or condition of the features, these responses have often been referred to as spectral signature. However, the term has now become obsolete and spectral reflectance is only used to characterize a feature. The importance of spectral reflectance curve lies in the fact that it gives us an insight into the spectral characteristics of the object under consideration. This can be illustrated by the example of spectral reflectance curve of the following earth surface features. First one is vegetation. All the green plants contain the pigment chlorophyll, which absorbs electromagnetic radiations greatly in the visible region. As a result, for healthy green vegetation, spectral reflectance curve exhibit peak and valley configuration. The peaks indicate predominant reflection and the valleys indicate deep in reflectance due to strong absorption of the energy in the corresponding wavelength bands. Further, the spectral response of vegetation depends on the structure of the plant leaves. This figure shows that spectral reflectance curve for vegetation, soil and water. In general, healthy vegetations are very good absorbers of electromagnetic energy in the visible region. In a plant leaf, the palisade cells containing chlorophyll pigment strongly absorb energy in the wavelength bands centered at 0.45 and 0.67 micrometer corresponding to blue and red wavelengths within the visible region. This dip in reflectance is known as chlorophyll absorption bands. Also, this reflection is highest for the green color in the visible region, due to which our eyes perceives healthy vegetation to be green in color. The absorption greatly reduces and reflection increases in the red or infrared boundary near 0.7 micrometer. The reflectance is nearly constant from 0.7 to 1.3 micrometer and then decreases for the longer wavelengths. In the reflected infrared portion or near infrared of the spectrum at 0.7 micrometer, the reflectance of healthy vegetation increases dramatically in the range from 0.7 to 1.3 micrometer. A plant leaf reflects about 50% of the energy incident upon it. This figure shows that cell structure of a green leaf and its interactions with the electromagnetic radiation, which is already discussed in previous slide. The infrared radiation penetrates the palisade cells and reaches the irregularly packed mesophyll cells, which make up the body of the leaf. Mesophyll cells reflects almost 60% of near infrared radiation reaching this layer. Most of the remaining energy is transmitted since absorption in this spectral region is minimal. Healthy vegetation therefore shows brighter response in the NIR region compared to the green region, as the leaf structure is highly variable between plant species. Reflectance measurements in this range often permit discrimination between species even if they look same in visible wavelengths beyond 1.3 micrometer. Energy incident upon the vegetation is essentially absorbed or reflected with little to no transmittance of energy. Dips in the reflectance occur at the 1.4, 1.9 and 2.7 micrometer because water in the leaf absorbs strongly at these wavelengths. Accordingly, wavelengths in this spectral region are referred to as water absorption bands. Reflectance peaks occur at about 1.6 and 2.2 micrometer between the absorption bands. Throughout the range beyond 1.3 micrometer, leaf reflectance is approximately inversely related to the total water present in a leaf. This total is function of both the moisture content and thickness of a leaf due to high degree of variability between plant species. The significance of reflectance measurements lies in the fact that these measurements help to distinguish between visually similar species of visible wavelength. Reflectance also acts as an indicator for detecting vegetation stress. For example, if a plant is subjected to some form of stress that interrupts its normal growth and productivity, it may decrease chlorophyll production. This results in lesser absorption in the blue and red bands in the palisade layer. As a result, red and blue bands also get reflected along with the green band, giving yellow or brown color to the stressed vegetation. In this figure shows that spectral reflectance curve of various land features. Further, in stressed vegetation, the near infrared bands are no longer reflected by the mesophyll cells. Instead, they are absorbed by the stressed or dead cells, causing dark tones in the image. Also, multiple layers of leaves in a plant canopy provide the opportunity for multiple transmittance and reflectance. Hence, the near infrared reflectance increases with the number of layers of leaves in a canopy, with the reflection maximum achieved at about 8 leaf layers. From figure 5, it is clear that we try to discriminate the two types of trees in visible bands. It would be a bit difficult since the spectral reflectance curves for the two tree types overlap in the visible region. As a result, both the tree types would appear green in color and would exhibit similar reflectance. Although this difficulty can be overcome partially by clues such as size and shape of canopy. However, it would not be possible to give absolute result. Another example illustrating the importance of spectral reflectance curve is the application in forestry to distinguish between deciduous bulbous and coniferous trees. We can see this in image in the left side. It is pertinent to mention that the reflectance curve for these trees is plotted as a ribbon of values, not as a single line to include a broad range of reflectance values rather than a discrete value for each tree. However, if we have a sensor that can detect the reflectance of the vegetation in infrared bands, this would solve our purpose. Since deciduous trees have broad leaves compared to needle-shaped leaves of conifers, they show much higher reflectance in infrared wavelength and thus appear much lighter in tone than conifers. Thus, based on spectral characteristics, various earth surface features can be identified and mapped. Now, let us talk about spectral signature of soil. The reflectance curve for soil in figure 4 shows considerably less peak and valley variation. The factor that affect soil reflectance are moisture content, organic matter content, soil texture. Soil texture includes proportion of sand, silt and clay, surface roughness and presence of iron oxide. The presence of moisture in soil decreases its reflectance due to the presence of water absorption bands at 1.4, 1.9 and 2.7 micrometer. Clay soil also has hydroxyl absorption band at 1.4 and 2.2 micrometer. There also exists close relation with soil moisture content and soil texture. For example, coarse sandy soil are usually well drained, resulting in low moisture content and relatively high reflectance, while poorly drained fine textured soil will generally have lower reflectance. Besides, soil reflectance is also reduced by surface roughness, presence of organic matter content and iron oxide. It is pertinent to mention here that soil reflectance comes from the uppermost layer of the soil and is not be indicative of the properties of bulk of the soil. Now comes to water. Clear water absorbs relatively little energy, having wavelength less than about 0.6 micrometer. As a result of high transmittance, water generally appears blue. An important characteristic of spectral reflectance of water is its complete absorption of near infrared wavelengths and beyond. As a result, a water body always appears dark when studied in infrared wavelengths. This is the reason that locating and delineating water bodies with remote sensing data is done mostly in near infrared wavelengths. However, various conditions of water bodies manifest themselves primarily in visible wavelength, such as the presence of organic as well as inorganic materials in water. For example, highly turbid water contains large quantity of suspended sediments, has much higher visible reflectance. Similarly, the presence of chlorophyll pigment as a result of algal growth decreases the reflectance, a fact used for studying the eutrophication status of water body using remote sensing techniques. Similarly, spectral reflectance is also used for determining the presence of tannin dyes, industrial waste discharges and various pollutants that alter the reflectance. Now, spectral signature of snow. Snow reflects strongly in the visible and near infrared and absorbs more energy at mid infrared wavelengths, that is characterized by a deep in spectral reflectance. However, the reflectance of snow is affected by its grain size, liquid water content and presence or absence of other materials. Larger grains of snow absorb more energy, particularly at wavelengths longer than 0.8 micrometer. At temperature near 0 degree centigrade, liquid water within the snow pack can cause grains to stick together in clusters, thus increasing the effective grain size and decreasing the reflectance at near infrared and longer wavelengths. When particles of contaminants such as dust or soot are deposited on snow, they can significantly reduce the surface's reflectance in the visible spectrum. From figure 6, it can be inferred that while both feature types appear bright in the visible and near infrared, clouds have significantly higher reflectance than snow at wavelengths longer than 1.4 micrometer. Figure shows that spectral reflectance of snow and clouds. Now comes to asphalt. Sand can have a wide variation in its spectral reflectance pattern depending on its parent material. Besides, presence or absence of water and organic matter also affect the spectral response of sand. As shown in figure 7, the spectral reflectance curve for asphalt is much flatter than those of other land cover features. However, its reflectance may be modified by the presence of paint, soot or water. Besides, aging also has an effect on spectral reflectance on asphalt. The reflectance of asphaltic concentrate increases on aging, particularly in the visible spectrum. Figure in right panel shows that spectral reflectance curve of various land features. To conclude this module, we can say that various land features can be separated spectrally based on their properties of absorption, reflectance and transmittance. This spectral variability study can also be affected by temporal and spatial effects. Temporal effects are those factors that changes the spectral characteristics of a feature over time. For example, the spectral characteristics of many vegetation species are nearly continual state of change throughout a growing season. Spatial effects refer to the factors that cause the same type of features at a given point in time to have different characteristics at different geographic locations. For example, analyzing spectral variability for a diseased versus healthy vegetation. However, these effects are extremely helpful while carrying out change detection studies over a given area based on change in temporal effects. Besides, spectral response patterns are influenced by the atmosphere between sensors and ground. Therefore, ground truth studies are useful. Dear students, hope this session would have given you an insight into the topic. Thank you.